What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we got a new character to talk about. It's a new Arcee card in the Transformers TCG. It's coming out in Wave 3, War for Cybertron Seed, sounds exciting, etc. But it actually gets an awful lot better. Because it's not just another new card, although it is a new card, please don't misunderstand. No, ladies and gentlemen, there's a new keyword skill. We've had bold, we've had tough in Wave 2, we had brave and stealth and plan. Well, in Wave 3, we're getting a new keyword skill. It's focus. I know, right? This one could be fun. So we're going to start off, ladies and gentlemen, having a little bit of a look at the stats, as we tend to do. And starting off, it is an 8-cost character. And the stats here, really not too bad at all. For an 8-cost character, we'd expect 4 attack, 12 health, 2 defense. We've got 12 health, but we've got an attack of either 4 or 5, which is kind of cool. We like that very much. Now, the defense of 1 in either mode, I will be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, is a little bit sad. It's got fairly low defense, but having said that, it's still probably going to stick around longer than the Arcee from Wave 1 did. Of course, the Arcee from Wave 1 is a 5-star character with excellent skills, especially in bot mode, where her pierce will be equal to her attack, and sees a lot of play even to this day, so we're going to need something fairly impressive. Although, just as a quick side note, car, not motorbike. More on that in a moment. So what about the skills then? We have to start in alt mode, where it's got this new skill, this new keyword skill, Focus 1. And focus means that before you attack or defend, you may look at the top card of your deck and scrap it. This is awesome. This is really, really good. Because if you are defending and the top card of your deck has an orange icon, scrap it. If you are attacking and the top card of your deck has a blue icon, scrap it. If it's a green icon, something that you're not going to be interested in, scrap it. And of course, we've got these things like black icons which have come around. So let's take our Disruptor Blade as a nice example. This gives you +3 attack, but if you don't flip a black icon when battling, you scrap this card after the battle. This gives you an extra chance. This won't guarantee that you flip a black icon when battling, but if you're flipping, let's say, 4 cards when attacking, then if one of those top 4 is not black, you lose our Disruptor Blade. But with Focus 1, if one of the top 5 cards is a black icon, then you don't lose this. Because if the top one isn't a black icon, you scrap it, and then you've still got 4 more to go. Now, there is going to be a question here as to whether this will work with green icons. So green icons, like we see, for instance, on Dinobot Enigma, they say that at the end of the battle, you may choose one of the green icon cards that you flipped while battling, and then swap it with one of the cards that's in your hand. In fact, Tech Research is a great example of a card that's literally got this written on. Now, my initial inkling is no. I don't think this would work with green icons. Because if we look at the cards, it says you may swap one card from your hand with one of your flipped green cards, whereas Arcee says, before flipping battle cards, look at the top card of your deck, you may scrap it. So as far as I'm concerned, it seems fairly straightforward. If you discard a green battle icon using this, you are not going to be allowed to then swap a card in your hand for it at the end of the battle. That seems fairly straightforward to me. But remember, we do get our weekly rules roundup, and yes, every single week I will be here to share it with you. Don't worry your pretty little heads about it, ladies and gentlemen. But as it stands, I'm willing to bet this will not interact with green icon cards. I'm calling it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm calling it. But make no mistake about it, Focus 1 is really good. Let's say, even if you're going for a super heavy orange deck, if you're playing one of those decks that is just playing orange icons and nothing else, you can still use this to discard a single orange icon to increase your chances of flipping a double orange icon. I think Focus is awesome, and I think Focus is going to get a lot of love. If you're playing a deck with a mixture of icons, this gives you a greater chance of hitting the one you want. But even if you're playing a mono icon deck or near enough, you're still going to play a couple of white in there. this still gives you a great opportunity to try and hit those double icon cards. Okay, so we've got Focus 1. Focus 1 sounds quite good, but we've got a bot mode skill here as well. And bot mode skills are fairly important, and I kind of like this bot mode skill. And I'm going to stop saying bot mode skills because it's starting to sound weird. While this has a weapon, it has both Bold 1 and Tough 1. When you're attacking, you flip one more battle card to try and increase your attack. When you're defending, you flip one more battle card to try and increase your defense. It's cool. We've seen plenty of characters out there with Bold 1 or Tough 1. Now, to be fair, we've also seen plenty of characters out there with, like, Bold 2. And this doesn't get up to that level, unfortunately. You are Bold 1, Tough 1. You're not going too hard into either. Starscream Air Commander, there's a great example of one with Bold 2. So you're not getting too deep into either Bold or Tough. This kind of gives you the option. But what I absolutely adore about Arcee is that in bot mode, and in alt mode, but it's really bot mode we're looking at here, it's a melee character. And I know that I've mentioned this in a bunch of videos, and I'm sorry, it just keeps being relevant. You got Power Sword and Body Armor, which give you Bold and Tough, which are basically unreplicable unless you're going a bit silly. So, for instance, you can play the aforementioned Tech Research, and then you can go Superior Cannon or Superior Plating and give yourself Bold or Tough 4, but they're awkward to get going. This is just straight Bold free, Tough free. So, really here, what I'm thinking is, you whack a Power Sword on here, now you've got a weapon, so you get Bold 1, but that weapon is Power Sword, so you get Bold 3, it adds up, you end up with Bold 4, and 5 is above average attack. So now you're rocking a 5 attack character with Bold 4, that's pretty sweet. So, would you rather be in alt mode then? And I don't know that I would. Because you see, as much as Focus 1 is good, and it is, Focus 1 really is equivalent to Bold 1 or Tough 1. Now, the great news is it basically gives you the same as it, but I don't know if it's really any better. Focus 1, I'm looking at it like I've got one more chance to hit that orange, one more chance to hit that blue. Whereas with Bold 1, Tough 1, you get to keep all the cards you flipped. Because you see, with Arcee, you can scrap an orange icon searching for a double, but you lose the single. Whereas in bot mode, you get to just flip an extra card, and then you'll keep all of the ones you flipped and count them. And in terms of stats, you've just got +1 attack in bot mode. There's no other difference in the stats. So as much as I like Focus 1 and I find it very interesting, I'm looking at this and thinking that most of the time, I'm going to want Arcee in bot mode. And I'm going to want to be whacking a Power Sword on, and I'm going to want a 5 attack character with Bold 4, which, when you're only paying 8 stars for the character, pretty gosh darn good. I like Body Armor to give yourself Tough 4, but do remember Body Armor, and this might shock you, is an armor, which means it won't actually activate your skill in bot mode. You will have to get a weapon on there as well. Incidentally, if you don't have a weapon on, I think I'm back to preferring Arcee in alt mode here. Now, the other thing we need to mention about Arcee is that it's a car, or she's a car. And that's better, because in Wave 1 she was a motorbike. And there's no support for motorbikes whatsoever, whereas cars do have a little bit of support. Back in Wave 1, we were really looking at untapping here. So we saw turbo boosters, for instance, put on a car, untap that character. And then we saw start your engines, which flips all of your bots into cars if they have a car mode, and then untaps one of them. But then in Wave 2, we got a little bit of the bumpers. And bumper's kind of nice. It just means that damage counters cannot be moved from other characters to the upgraded character. But it means you can use it with, say, Cliff Jumper to draw an extra card when you flip, which is quite nice, or indeed get +1 attack in the KO area. Thing to remember is we've got quite a lot of 6-star cars, so I don't know if this is necessarily the best way to go with Cliff Jumper, especially when you start adding in some of the 5-star combiner cars. But you got stuff like Prowl here, and I like Prowl a lot here, because what you can do is you can flip into alt mode, And yes, that would count if you played Start Your Engines. And then you give all of your cars bold 2, but you can then, and this was confirmed in the recent ruling roundup, if you then flip Arcee into bot mode, you keep that bold 2. So with a power sword, you're then rocking bold 6, which is crazy. And incidentally, only happens because you are a car. Now, what you have to do is essentially flip Prowl while Arcee is a car, and then flip Arcee back into bot mode. But that's bold 6, ladies and gentlemen. That's bold 6. We got excited about Raider Stormcloud the other day, which does in and of itself have bold 6. And we were like, yeah, it's got bold 6. This is amazing, whoop, etc. But it's also a Micromaster, so it's just not staying around for very long at all. Also, you had to scrap 3 green icon cards from your hand with the same name in order to achieve that. I think this is a little bit easier. I like this Arcee. It's not as cheap as Wave 1 Arcee, and that's a little bit of a pain, but make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, this has really good skills. It has introduced us to a new keyword skill, which is awesome, but more than that, it's just good. It really strikes me as a very, very nice attacker indeed. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I think about this, but I would very much like to know what you think about this. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at @Wossy, where we talk about games like Transformers, but also a bunch of others. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.